Okay, on vault tonight, John, was Peyton hurt? Is that why Libby went tonight? It wasn't that her first vault in college?
It was Libby's first vault in college, and I thought that she did a fantastic job. I mean, it's something that she's had to get used to doing this season, and I was happy that she went. She had a decent warm up for her, and it's like we kind of need to do this because at the end of the day, sometimes you don't know what's going to happen, and you want to have as many people up as possible. And with the fall from Laura Lee, even though Libby scored a 9.5, it's the 1.4 difference on the team score that matters the most in that situation. So she came up big. Peyton tweaked her shoulder. We're hoping to get her back soon, but I'm not going to have a timeline on that.
Hey, John,
go ahead, David.
Hey, John, just like obviously you guys are stronger on the backside with beam and floor. Is it tough when you're stronger on the backside to get off to a fast start and you guys kind of put yourself in a little bit of a hole tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we dug ourselves a little bit of a hole, but it was a combination of a few things where we actually executed pretty well, and I think that one of the hard part about gymnastics is it's based on subjectivity, and it's not if you stay behind the line it's a 3, if you're inside the line it's a 2. It doesn't work that way. Our team did a pretty good job. We made some mistakes. We wish that we could have some routines back. You don't get them back. You have to go into practice and certainly fix them. And I think on vaulting, they have to continue to improve on that. And on bars, we have to continue to improve over there. We don't compete the way we practice. And when you have any team, but especially when you have a young team, when you think about it, I mean, how many routines, we had, I don't know, at least 20 routines from freshmen and sophomores. We know how they practice, but we're also learning how they compete because we can do as many pressure situations upstairs in Roby, but this is the learning environment. This is the learning environment for them, and they always have something to take away. When things go right, sometimes you don't learn much. You have to have a little bit of adversity, and I think that the season is still young. We still have many meets to go, and we want to do better. We want to do better. I mean, they're happy with the last 2 events, but at the same time, it's about putting together a complete competition.
You talked about that young lineup, especially on bars. I mean, not having someone like Chrissy or Maddie here anymore, how big of a change is that to get your youngsters going in the right direction?
Well, I think that we have some great young talent over there on bars. And like I said, when they can kind of put together the gymnasts that they are and the gymnasts that they want to be, and that shows up downstairs, you'll see a point difference. I think in an event, people like Dietz and Bailey McCabe, Malia, Serena, Mackenzie Kane, they're good bar workers. Taylor Raskin has great lines. They are good bar workers. It's just, guess what? You have to be able to do it in a meet. You got to be able to do it in a meet. And we have to work harder on that. I have to work harder on that. Peter has to work harder on that. Taylor has to work harder on that. We all do. And that's across all events. Just because we go 49.05, I want to go 49.55. So I'm not satisfied until I feel that we are maxed out everywhere.
And I mean, go ahead, David.
With Malia's fall on the bars, how tough is that to get going again when you have to kind of stop and go over and refresh the hands and then come back and try to keep it going?
Well, one, you want to make sure you don't get disqualified. So you got 40 seconds to get back up and shake it off, or else the judge is going to score what they did, whatever it is that you did. And when she hit her foot on the bar, it was right in the soft spot of the Achilles. So it probably stung a little bit, I'm sure. And then she had the errors also on the landing. So, I mean, you take the 5/10 for the fall, then then let's take another 5 in steps and off the start value. So it's a pretty, it's a pretty significant when it comes to scoring. But gymnasts are used to, they're used to it in meets. They make a mistake. They know they have 40 seconds. They have to get back up and finish. They've been doing that since they were, 7 years old or 8 years old, whenever it is that they started competing. You fall down, you get back up. It's like you fall down, you get up, you bear down. That's what it is. I'm sure that it is hard, but at the same time, it's like they're not going to go up there and quit. You know, does she wish she probably had that routine back? I'm sure she did. But if you watch the meet in Utah, that was her first time competing bars in college, and she did a fantastic job. So, but Malia's going to be there. She's an extremely hard worker for our team. She's one of the leaders of our team, and she's going to keep working hard. And she's very coachable, and I think she's going to be fine throughout the stretch. But she still has to learn how to compete that event after not really she didn't compete at all her freshman year. So she's 3 meets in.
And you had Jessica exhibition over there today. Jessica exhibition on the bar, just looking for more experience for all of them, or looking to see who might go, or what's the deal?
Well, she's been training bars in the gym. It's the event that's come around last for Jessica, and you know, Peter and I talked, and he said, you know, let's have her warm up. She's been doing some good sets upstairs in the gym, and it's like, hey, let's have her warm up. Let's see what she can do. She had a really good warm up, so it was like, hey, it was a very easy decision to make. Now, you know, when the exhibition outscores the whole lineup or ties Mackenzie Kane, you know, she didn't make the coaches look too good on that lineup decision. But at the same time, we know that we have another quality bar routine if we choose to use her down the line.
John, in terms of Jessica, I know there's been a lot of talk on you know, her wolf turn there. She's done 2 triples now and a double last week. Explain the difficulty in that. How difficult is 3? Is there, I mean, can you get to 4? I mean,
I'm not doing it. Neither are you, David. That's for sure. She might very well be, and I'll say this, and if someone wants to correct me down the road, they will. She might be the only gymnast in the country doing 3. That's a great place to be. That's a unique skill. A lot of people do 2. Some people do 1. When you take a skill and sometimes you can do it better than everybody else, I mean, that's pretty special. And Jess is a very experienced competitor. So, I mean, she knows when to do 2 and when to do 3, but she has the green light over there from Taylor. And when she does 2, I'm happy. When she does 3, I'm happy. I don't think 4 is coming, but if, you know, I bet if you asked her in practice, she could probably do 4.
have you ever seen 4?
I have not, but I coach floor and vault, but I can walk over there. Maybe just ask her. Put it on Twitter. She'll respond to you. You know.
And this meet, I mean, Cal had only had 1 before, and I mean, their score last week was one that's within your wheelhouse right now. Is it kind of disappointing not to get the W when you feel like maybe this could have been a win here?
Yes, for sure. I mean, any time that we don't perform up to our expectations as coaches, we always want to think, what else can we do better? And you go back to the drawing board. And, you know, even though as coaches, sometimes, you know, you say, okay, what is the end result? And then you look at the process, and you have to look at the process sometimes a little bit more to be like, hey, this is where they are. Sometimes they are learning how to compete. And I always say it's not how you start. It's certainly how you finish. I wish the last 2 homestands, for sure, I wish we went 196 in both of them, but we didn't, and we can't change that. We have to change it upstairs and try to compete like we practice. That's I think the main thing. And this group can do it. You know, the coaches and the athletes have full confidence in themselves to go out there and do it. And when they put it all together, it's going to be pretty special. That's for sure.
John, when you talk about, obviously the scores have gone down, you've gone from high to middle now to low today. Is that a byproduct of the fact you have a young team and you have a lot of freshmen and sophomores? Do you feel like maybe there's some fatigue setting in there mentally there as well, that you've seen the scores go down each week?
You know, that's a really good point. You know, when you think about it, I'm sure there's some mental fatigue. I'm sure there was some physical fatigue. When, you know, if you rewind the clocks, you know, you go back, us as a team, and also all the freshmen, their season stopped in March or even February, or maybe they were hurt last year. So they've gone 3 weeks straight. And that's the fun part about college, is certainly competing, but there is a little bit of, you know, mental and physical wear and tear. But it's, you know, to me, it's also, you get through that. You find ways to get through that. You find ways to bear down. And at the end of the day, they all love performing, for this institution. So they are young. Yes. I'm not going to use that for an excuse, and neither are they, because when they do their routines the right way, it's awesome. So it's just really going to be a matter of, where we are, where do you want to be? How fast can we close that gap? We go to Oregon State next week. It's going to be a road trip, and lineups won't shift around too much. Have a week of training, get on a plane, and try to. What we did well, let's keep doing that. And what we didn't do well, let's try to do that better, and see if we can make some more goals up there in Corvallis.
And John, just the loss of Diane Durham this week. What interactions at all did you have with her? Just thoughts on the loss to the community.
Certainly, I did not know Diane Durham. I didn't know her personally. I know who she was, and she was a great gymnast. She was a champion. My heart goes out to her and her family on the loss, and I think it's something that it's hard. It's loss is hard. Loss is also part of part of life, and I think that for what she did in the sport, being a pioneer in the sport, being one of the first first women of color to be a championship in gymnastics, and so many have followed from her and walked in her footsteps. I think that personally, I look at it, you mourn the loss for sure, but also you celebrate the life and the achievements of what she did, of what people certainly what anyone does, certainly after they pass on, you can remember. You have to choose how to remember someone when they do pass on. I choose to remember people for how they lived, not for certainly the loss at the end. Not just me personally.
Are there any more questions for Coach? All right, thank you, everyone. That's all we have for today.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys. David will work on that 4 turns. Get it out there.
Hey, I'm fine with 3. I was just wondering how if 4 is
You
even
want,
possible.
you can bring in some socks, and we'll put you up there, and you can see how you do. You'll move an inch and you'll fall. That's what will happen. So,
Thanks, man.
I appreciate the time. Appreciate the coverage from everybody.
Absolutely.
All righty.